Welcome to the Insight Series, the premier coaching and mentoring tool for the mortgage broking industry. I'm Andrea Close. On this edition, Daryl Weeks meets with Bill Ryan, a very successful Sydney broker and businessman who shares his secrets to success. And on The One Thing, you'll learn how to reduce your deal stress and provide exceptional service by using our call control system. This issue, we look at part 1, developing and using a service commitment flowchart. Now let's kick things off with Bill Ryan, a 29-year veteran of banking and broking. He established Ryan Home Loans and built it up to a successful boutique brokerage and aggregator, settling over $30 million a month, averaging in excess of $6 million of that himself. Bill shared with us some fantastic tips that have helped him generate and manage his business. We'll also hear about his attitude and approach to his work, which boils down to 4 things: a very strong work ethic, uncompromising discipline, a love for what he does, and an unwavering commitment to his system. Daryl caught up with Bill at the beautiful Riverside Oaks for a round of golf and a chat. Let's take a look.
How do you manage your own team, plus manage to write, you've done 12 million a month and 10 million on a regular basis on your own. How do you manage to keep those sort of numbers going, plus run a team?
Yeah, it's just about getting the right people, I think. People there that are experienced brokers, that are motivated, self-motivated and so forth. So they really do look after themselves. Occasionally they'll ring up for some advice on which lender would do the deal, or how to handle particular situation and so forth. But once you've got the combination of the right people, it's quite easy to do.
They're off the green. Why don't we move up and play our seconds?
Sounds good.
You were telling me that your top producer, one of your top producers, has gone against the trend. He's come from outside the banking industry. Yep. He's was self-employed, had his own business, is used to the concept of hard work for little return in the early stages, the delayed gratification that we were talking about. What are the steps that you went through to take someone with no finance experience to someone who's now one of your top producers? What have you done to get this guy to where he is?
Yeah, I think that's the word you used, delayed gratification. He really understood that you need to do a lot of work initially for not a lot of reward. But he had a great skills in, and still does, and has developed those even further in building relationships with clients. He works very well with clients and he communicates exceptionally well, I would say. And due to those factors, and his looks very professional, his image is very, very professional, I was keen to run with him. Yeah, and I guess in the initial stages, he was able to come around with me for about 20 appointments. And I've never had a consultant actually do that. And I think that has paid off for him big time as he's been able to develop over the last couple of years.
It's interesting to note that one of Bill's most successful loan writers came from outside of the finance industry. All of his other loan writers came from a finance background. Now, according to Bill, the keys to this individual success are no different to anyone else's. Be prepared to be unbalanced. There's a lot of hard work and a lot of long nights to be had before you establish yourself. Understand that this is a delayed gratification business. It takes time before the rewards flow in. Study your craft. A good example of this is the 20 interviews this loan writer attended with Bill before he even started. Back at Riverside Oaks, Bill is sharing his views on referral relationships and his approach to generating referrals from within his own client base.
The referral sources will generally be only short term. You'll find there that the ones that who generate quite a lot of business for you, after a while they'll start to think, well, there's a lot of money in this that we're giving away. And even a spotter's fee or whatever you may agree to pay to those referral sources is not going to be enough. They're going to want more. So by developing your clients that you get from those and developing those relationships really strong with them, they'll continue to deal with you down the track. And that's what we've always done, is develop those relationships with the clients.
Where they become advocates.
That's right, yeah. I mean, right from day one, we've always talked about an annual review. We've always done, when we've done the loan, we've done a post-settlement interview after the settlement, which is unique almost with we have found. A lot of people are quite surprised when we come back free of charge and sit with the client and go through the 5 steps to success and the 5 cash flows that we talk about. And then we schedule them for an annual review. And at the annual review, we just basically touch base with them, see how they're going, see where they're up to with their mortgage and so forth, if they can get a better deal or benefit from that, or just develop them further into their investment knowledge so that they continue their quest for wealth.
Bill touched on his 5-step system, and we'll be exploring that a little bit later on. Right now, we join Bill in his Castle Hill office to learn about his systems for developing clients and creating referrer relationships. Now, like a lot of us, Bill started out doing home visits, but he found a number of advantages flowed when he moved into an office.
Well, to begin with, I guess it's a great time saving for myself. I can find there that I can schedule appointments every 90 minutes. Generally speaking, I'll start at 9 and I'll interview every 90 minutes, allowing half an hour for lunch during the day. And so that's a great savings initially, whereas years ago when I was on the road, I'd find that I was driving 4 to 5 hours battling the Sydney traffic, and that wasn't productive at all. So that's the initial benefit. Other benefits include you tend to attract a higher level client. You're not going to attract someone who's going to shop around. When they come to the office, they're generally coming to do business. They've generally been told by the referral source that this guy will look after you, who'll work with you and develop you, and that's what they're looking for. And most of the time, they're 9 parts sold by the time they come here.
Have you found that your average loan size has increased, or that your quality has increased correspondingly at all?
Yeah, I've always had a high conversion rate, but I do find that the average loan size is increased since doing it from the office. And that's been terrific. And generally speaking, the higher net worth the client is, the more referrals you will be able to obtain. So it tends to work really well that way as well.
Okay, so it sounds like you were fairly busy right from the get-go.
Absolutely.
How did you get the business rolling? What did you do to make the business start?
Yeah, well, when I was working in the bank, I developed a business plan. Even 2 years prior to leaving the bank, I knew what I wanted to do, and I wanted to start my own business. So I had a business plan in place.
So you had a written business plan?
Written business plan in place. I identified what my market would be, and I had a number of referral sources that were ready and in place so that by the time that I left my PAYG employment, I was really running from day one.
Bill's highlighted why he moved from home and invested in an office and infrastructure. If you're looking at the same kind of move, here are some key points to consider. Do you need a shop front or just office space? If you choose a shop front, will you get the return you require to justify the added expense? The value of a shop front tends to be exposure. Potential customers being able to identify and be comfortable with your business because they've seen your name on the window. This may in fact be worth the extra money. You'll be committing to a fixed cost. Is your cash flow robust enough to cope with this? A new office can require an enormous investment in capital, time and energy. Are you prepared for this? Consider a serviced office as an option. Start small and build from there. Bill also highlighted his planned approach to his business. He wrote a detailed business plan before starting. Bill's plan included his target market, investment property purchases, his unique selling proposition, wealth creation assistance, his value add, the 5-step plan, and his marketing strategy. He targeted referrers who mainly worked with property investors. Talking about referrers, let's hear Bill's approach to referrers and in particular his satellite model.
Well, I think as you're developing your network of referrals, and I call it a satellite, what I do with my satellite is I know that you need about 30 leads a month to write good volume, and you'll have your other business, which is your existing clients and so forth. So I have a satellite where you have a Ryan Home Loans consultant or myself in the middle there, which was in the early days. You have a solicitor, accountant, financial planner, and real estate agents over here, or project marketing people, and then you have your existing client base as well. And from that satellite, you're able to get the 30 leads a month. You work upon, like, say, for example, you'll say a solicitor, you might say you want 8 leads a month from a solicitor, which could be 8 leads from one solicitor, or it could be 2 solicitors giving you 4 each. But always understanding there that they will be a temporary alliance most of the time. Very rarely you find that someone will be with you for 5 or 6 years. It's really only a very short time. So what I would approach it, generally speaking, if they're only providing a very few leads, generally speaking, they'll only get a contact once a month. Whereas if they're providing a lot of leads, I'll be contacting them very regularly, probably daily. And then you'll find that after a while they'll realise how much money is in the finance side and how much leads and how much business they are giving away. So they quite often want to set up their own finance. And at that time, they'll ask you to do a joint venture with them or employ you. And that's not really what I want. I want to be independent and so forth. So generally speaking, we part ways and so move on to continue that new alliance.
Okay, so am I right in thinking that your plan, that given that you understand this is the process that you go through with referrers, am I right in thinking that you are constantly looking for referrers, you're constantly replacing the referrers that drop off who want to go do it themselves, so this is part of your system that you work through, it's a constant prospecting type thing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I talk to my consultants. You want to spend 80% of your time, I call it prospecting, presenting and following up. Okay, they're the 3 things that you should do in your week. 80% of your time must be in that zone. The other 20% is your compliance, your administration and training. So a lot of brokers we are finding are spending too much time in the administration side of their business. They need to change that. I know brokers have spent 80% in administration and 20% in sales. Those guys may not be around long term, or certainly won't be writing large volumes of business. So I think that that's a very important part about what I do and teach. So yes, we are continually replacing those referral sources, but once you reach a point of critical mass, if you like, you get so much business from your existing client base and so forth that you really no longer really need to continue to develop that for yourself. But I do for my consultants. I help them with establishing those satellites.
You've now gotten past that, having referrers, you're now generating all your business from inside your own database. But what you do with your brokers that come on is because you've lived it, you've built it yourself, you now teach them how to build their referral base and get their business going through referrers?
That's right, yeah. And it's quite common where I'll have a referral source may contact me personally and say, we'd like you to look after our client base. And what I'll do there is say, yeah, I'd love to do that, but what I would like to do is actually appoint a consultant to you. Your relationship as a referral agent to Ryan Home Loans will be a direct one. The consultants that I attach to you, or the consultant I attach to you, they may come and go, they may move on, they may upset you, or you may not like them for whatever reason. What I can do is actually replace that consultant with no problems, there's no conflict, and that way we don't lose our alliance. And I think that will work better for us long term.
Bill's touched on an extremely important point here, which is his focus on the number of referrals he needs to maintain his required cash flow. This approach of focusing on what he needs to do as opposed to what he wants to earn is one of the keys to success in this business. It's particularly important for new brokers to understand this, so let me explain. The first thing you need to do for this approach to work is to determine how much you want to earn. Let's call it $15,000 a month. Let's assume your average loan size is $250,000 and your average upfront commission is 0.6. So you need to settle 10 loans a month. Now let's say your settlement conversion rate for the purpose of this example is 62.5%. So you need 16 applications. If your leads to applications conversion rate runs at about 50%, you need about 30 leads a month. That's a lot of numbers, but let me take the confusion out of it. You really only need to focus on one number, and that's how many leads a month you need. Basically what we're saying is this: you keep prospecting for referrers until you get your required number of leads per month, and you keep replacing them until your client base hits, as Bill calls it, critical mass, and provides you with the required leads. Now, you've actually got the 5-step plan in a package.
Sure.
Can we have a look at that?
Yeah, absolutely. The 5-step success, or this is our wealth pack, the 5 steps to success has been taught one-on-one with a notepad, basically for 6 or 7 years, by myself and by consultants. What I did is formalise that. About 18 months ago, I realised that I was doing one-on-one interviews with clients, and it was taking 90 minutes per interview. And I worked out in 2002 I did it 180 times, which is 7 working weeks when you work it out.
You sat down and worked out how many times you did this presentation.
Yeah, and I did it 180 times in 2002. So I figured if I can make this automated process, if I can provide them with a package that they can look at it on a CD-ROM in their own time, in their own home, after the settlement of their loan, and then they can come and talk to me at a much higher level, rather than having to get them to that point. Then they can come to me where they're really looking to go forward from there and really move together and develop.
Okay, so what you've done now, if I'm understanding you correctly, you've gone from being Bill Ryan, the broker, to Bill Ryan, trusted advisor, and you've now put a system in place that you've created on a CD-ROM and a complete package.
That's right.
This is the stuff that sets you apart. This is the stuff that actually generates and creates the advocates from your clients. Is this what you're saying?
Absolutely, and it's very hard to duplicate it unless it's automated. If I want a consultant to teach the 5 steps to success, you might find 6 months down the track they've got a 7 steps to success plan or a 3 steps or whatever. So it's very hard to duplicate it, whereas this package allows a duplication process.
And all your clients run with this system, don't they? All your consultants and your clients run with this system.
Well, when a client comes to us, we give them 2 options. We say to them, we have 2 options that you have when you come and deal with Ryan Home Loans. One is you can be a customer, or one you can be a client. Now, the difference is, as a customer, you see us as a mortgage broker.
You say this to your clients?
Absolutely. Yeah, we say you have the choice. You can be a client or you can be a customer. Now, a customer, you treat us like a mortgage broker where we have access to all the major lenders and non-bank lenders and so forth, and we will go through and look at your circumstances and make some suggestions in relation to the best deal to suit your personal circumstances, as any broker will do. We'll also do a post-settlement interview where just to make sure that you've got your checkbook and your ATM card and everything went through smoothly for you, and then we'll touch base with you once a year.
And this is your base level service delivery, if you like.
And we give them the option. That's what a customer is. Whereas a client will take advantage of the 5 Steps to Success package or the wealth package. And basically we'll develop those clients. It's a 12-month program initially, and then we work with them from there to continue their education and continue to grow them after that. But after we've set the foundations over the first 12 months, they will never look back and they will never go anywhere else.
Okay, now your wealth pack, you say you charge your clients for your wealth pack?
Yeah, we charge $495 for our wealth pack.
And what's in the pack?
Yeah.
These are the clients who've come along, they now
Yes.
want to be clients. You
Yep.
charge them an extra $495.
Yes.
And they get what?
They get a CD-ROM, and they get 2 CD-ROMs actually. The first one is the 5 Steps to Success, and the second one is the 5 cash flows.
Okay, so this is the cash flow.
Yep,
And the first one they get is
the 5
the
steps
5
to
steps
success.
to success, which is this one here.
That's right.
And you run through this with them.
They put it on their own. See, this replaces now the post-settlement interview that I did 180 times in 2002.
Okay.
This is my post-settlement interview.
Yep.
So it runs through the 5 Steps to Success, which I used to do on a notepad and a pen in front of the clients. It runs through the 5 cash flows we talks about. It introduces some of our alliances, because we're not financial planners. We don't do a financial plan with the clients. We talk to them about our alliances, and if you want to know more about that, we can introduce you to some of our alliances that we believe are the best in the business.
And this is all contained on the CD.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, they get, what's
In
this
addition
over
to
here?
that, this is the workbook. This is our 12-month program. What's entailed in the work is a 20-page booklet, and it has a number of things within that. And it's a checklist that they work their way through over the next 12 months. And there's a number of tasks that they need to do along the way, and they just tick that off and date it when it's completed. And at the end of the 12 months, they come back to us and they say, yes, this is what we've done. We've done all of it or some of it. This is an area we need to work in.
Now, do you monitor these?
Each 12 months we touch base with them, but you find, like anything, the ones that are really doing it, they're going to be in contact with us. They're going to be saying, okay, when you go away and you set your goals, what's the best way to go about that? And how do you set your 7 areas of goal setting? You talk about that. What's an example of a personal development goal, or what's an example of, help us with that a little bit. So you'll have that ongoing communication with them.
Okay, and you've got one more piece in there, which is
the first book. The first book that we have a book program that is part of the Wealth Pack. We've set up with Angus and Robertson at Bankstown. And the first book that I like to introduce is Retire Young, Retire Rich. The reason being that book is all about leverage.
Yeah.
We talk about leverage all the time, the leverage of your time, the leverage of property, the leverage of shares, the leverage of many different things that you can leverage in your life to make things happen faster for you, to get ahead quicker. And that book is all about leverage, and that's why we love and introduce it to the clients first up.
This all ties in with your wealth creation philosophy, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
This is the value add, turning your clients into advocates.
Exactly. I've always believed in developing your client, and you'll never have to look for business, developing your consultants and teaching them to develop their clients, and you never have to look for business, because the business will come because the clients are wanting to move forward. They're going to want to buy another investment property, upgrade their home, or use some of their equity to invest into the stock market or whatever it may be, but they're very interested in moving forward.
So how do you mine your database? How do you get the referrals? Now, you've got to prompt these people. Some of them send them, but how do you actually mine your client base?
We talk to our clients about what we do and how our service differs from most brokers and most banks and so forth, and the difference that they will receive by dealing with Ryan Home Loans or one of its executives. We call them executives these days,
right,
as opposed to consultants.
Right.
Okay, it makes it sound just that little bit better. They start to see the benefits of what they're doing, but we keep asking them, can you see the difference? Can you see the difference between what we offer and what you may have experienced in the past? And they say, yeah. And you say, well, what do you see the difference? What are the differences that you're seeing here? And they start to repeat back what we've told them.
Okay.
And that starts to ingrain into them the benefit of dealing with Ryan Home Loans as opposed to dealing with a bank or another broker.
Do you prompt your clients for referrals? Do you physically ask for referrals?
We talk to them about how we live and die by referrals, and we find that our clients talk about us a lot because of what we do and how we differentiate in the marketplace, and we find that the leads do talking about what we're doing and how we differentiate. And a lot of people saying, yeah, we'd love to do that, we might give him a call, and it comes from
What you're saying here, in fact, is you're earning the right to the business through exceptional service, because clearly this is exceptional service. You don't get this at every mortgage broker.
Sure. Yeah. I believe that we earn the referrals for sure, and we guarantee to our clients that if they refer a friend or family member, they will get the same level of service that we've provided to them, and that they'll be very happy with that, because they wouldn't be referring if they weren't happy with the service.
Where's the business going to now? And specifically, I don't want you to give away trade secrets, but can you tell us some of the things that you're putting in place now that will take you forward?
We want to be boutique, Daryl. That's the thing that we're really trying to
Specialising.
position ourselves. We're specialised. We're not looking to be, a larger super broker or aggregator type of organisation. We want to look after motivated people who want to grow financially. If you like, if we could just have 5%, we're looking for the top 5%, and if we can develop our clients into that, we'll have done our job. Obviously, this will result in us writing a lot more business and see how we go from there.
You mentioned two words there that I'm very interested in, something that I've been saying. You mentioned boutique and specialising. Moving forward, do you see our industry becoming more specialised? Because there's a lot of brokers there they do commercial, home loans, car loans. Do you see the industry moving to be where brokers only do wealth creation or only do home loans type thing? You see it moving that way?
Yeah, I mean, right from the start, we've only done home loans and investment loans. We haven't done commercial loans, leasing, or all the other things, or personal loans and so forth that many brokers do. The reason being, there's so many home loans out there at the market, and if you're going to be specialised, you need to know what they are and how they work and how your client can benefit from them. So we've really worked on specialising in the home loan lending market, and we believe it works for us.
So where is Bill Ryan in 5 years' time?
I think Bill Ryan will still be doing the same things he's doing now, because he loves it. He always has loved it. I've lived it, I breathe it, and 24 hours a day, this is who I am, it's what I am. And I believe that I'll probably always be in this industry. I'll probably have a lower handicap in golf, probably play a little bit more golf than I do now. But at the same time, I love this industry, and I certainly love developing those clients and working with them long term.
Wow, that was fantastic. This is what Insights is all about. You've just shared time with one of Australia's top brokers, and he's given you all his secrets. We'll leave you now with Bill Ryan and some words of wisdom.
What I'd say to you is get great at sales, because you will live and die by your referrals. And building relationships with clients, sales is not really about selling something to someone that they don't want. It's basically helping them develop and building relationships so they'll have confidence in you and they'll trust you to look after their best interests. And if you have that ingrained into you, that by looking after others, it will come back to you. They'll make a lot, you'll make a little bit. The second thing that I'd like to talk about is perhaps don't get distracted. You've got to have the blinkers on in your first 3 years. There's so many people that are going to come to you and say, come and join us. Or they're going to say, you should come and work for us. We'll offer you this great package or whatever it may be. But once you have your business plan, make a decision that over the next 3 years, you're going to stick to that plan no matter what. And then after 3 years, review it. But you mustn't get distracted in that initial period and make the business plan work for you.
So the message is pretty simple. A, this is more about people and understanding people than about numbers.
Absolutely.
And B, be disciplined.
Absolutely.
Stick to your knitting. That's what you're saying to someone coming in the industry?
Yeah, be disciplined. Product knowledge is another thing that I would like to add to that. You need to know 3 to 5 lenders exceptionally well. You need to know those lenders better than the lenders know themselves. Even if you have to go and spend some time with the credit managers and see what they're doing and the way that they look at deals and how they like to have deals prepared and put to them, go and do that. You need to know what the other lenders are doing so you can say, okay, well, I have a great understanding so you don't miss out on opportunities. And sometimes you may need to sell against another lender. Maybe they've already seen another broker or whatever it may be, and you need to be able to know what the pitfalls are with those products or services that lender's got. But at the end of the day, you're selling yourself. You're not really selling a product. You are the product, and that's what I'd say to any new person coming into the industry.
Welcome to The One Thing. This month we introduce you to Call Control, a system designed to deliver exceptional service to your clients and at the same time reduce your deal stress. We'll be talking more about exceptional service next month, but for now, what is deal stress? Well, here's how it works. You've taken a loan application for a client and you've used the old, I'll ring you in a couple of days. A couple of days later, you're about to go into an appointment and the phone rings. It's your client, Julie, who wants to know where her deal's up to. You tell her you don't know, but you'll ring the lender and get back to her. You ring the assessor, who's in a meeting, so you leave a message. You go into your next appointment and naturally you turn your phone off. 1.5 hours later, you emerge from the appointment and when you turn the phone on, there's 4 new messages. You go through and answer these. A couple of these are urgent new referrals, so you deal with them first. Then there's a message from the real estate agent who referred Julie to you in the first place. So you return that call and tell them you don't know where the deal's up to, but you're working on it. The last message is from the loan assessor for Julie's deal. He's returning your call. You ring, but he's just stepped out for 5 minutes, so you leave another message. He returns your call, but you're on the phone. Then you get caught up with one of those urgent referrals. In fact, you have to duck out quickly and do the appointment with one of them. By the time you come out of this, it's 5 o'clock. You remember Julie's deal, and just as you're about to dial the assessor, the phone rings and it's Julie, who's irritated. In fact, she's irritated right off her head. She wants to know where her deal's up to and why you haven't called her like you said you would. Now, that's deal stress. The stress you feel when this happens is directly related to the loss of control of the information process. When you react to the situation, you're on the back foot and must take immediate action to placate the client. If you don't, then you run the risk of the deal going sour. You may even find yourself focusing on making the pain go away rather than actually focusing on taking care of your client. Unfortunately for a lot of brokers, they think this situation is normal. There seems to be a view that it's just part of the business, just part of being a broker. Well, it certainly doesn't have to be this way. If this sounds all too familiar to you, it's time to take control. Today, we're going to share with you a system that will dramatically reduce your deal stress. Brokers have chosen to use the call control system report a decrease of around 80% of their unwanted inbound calls. Those are the calls that ask, "Where's my deal up to?" Call control will not only improve your level of service, it will also put you in the running for a lot more client referrals. The system is designed to dramatically reduce the reactive through a moderate increase of the proactive. At the heart of the system is a series of predetermined outbound call triggers. These call triggers are determined by you. They reflect the most important points that you'll encounter in getting an application to unconditional approval. Now, it only works if everybody buys into the system. The loan writer, the file driver, if you have one, and the client. This is how it works. The loan writer introduces the system to the client at the interview, and we'll cover this and how it's done in the next issue. The client agrees to participate in the system. Now, don't worry, this isn't too hard. Just trust me for now, they will be happy to participate. When the loan application's lodged, you or your file driver know exactly when to make the outbound calls because it's already been agreed. It's just part of the system. So that the process is consistent and it can be replicated, it's critical that it's recorded on what we call the service commitment flow chart. Now, besides the ones I've just mentioned, there are several more important reasons that we record this process. Firstly, it's the start of a procedures manual which becomes absolutely invaluable when you decide to sell your business. Secondly, it's the bus test. Now, the bus test works like this. Imagine that the person who's responsible for driving your loan applications to settlement gets hit by a bus. As tragic as that is, where does that leave your business? Now, the bus test, you might like to apply it to other parts of your business. There are some other critical points to note. The contact points with the client are time-driven, not event-driven. You don't wait for something to happen on the deal to contact your client. During the interview, the loan writer will make a commitment to the customer. That commitment is that the customer will be contacted at the agreed predetermined times, regardless of whether there's any news or not. The old argument of, "I didn't call them because I had nothing to tell them," has no place in the professional brokerage. The customer must be contacted on or before the agreed times, not 1 minute after. If you're late, you lose. Be quick with bad news. If something goes wrong, tell your client as quickly as possible, then solve the problem. Don't wait until you have the solution to contact the client. Now, when you're developing your service commitment flowchart, you need to keep a couple of things in mind. It needs to be a flowchart, not just a set of written instructions. Flowcharts are more visual. They evidence a process and they can be placed on the wall over your file driver's desk as well as on each file. It needs to be understood by everybody, so make it as simple as possible. It must be clearly communicated to your staff. It must be a non-negotiable process for running every file. Now, here's a biggie. Every time a step is completed, the next step must be diarised. An electronic diary is probably the best. If you run an electronic diary, give yourself a 15-minute warning. To help you with this process, we've placed a template of the service commitment flowchart on the website so you can download and use it. It's a template. You can change it to suit you, but the important thing is you have a process and you follow it. Okay, this is only the first part in the call control system. We'll cover part 2 next time. I'll see you then.
Well, there's certainly a lot to learn from Bill Ryan. We also covered part 1 of the call control system, and we'll complete the second part next month. We'll also interview Scott Brennan, a dynamic producer from the southern suburbs of Sydney. We look forward to your company then.